Ladies and gentlemen, good witches and bad witches, we are live on Google Hangouts. Right now, I am the only person here. Google Hangouts has reassured me that we can broadcast for 8 hours. I don't know if I'll last that long, but 1 hour sounds like a pretty good cap. Right now, we're sitting at 0 viewers, broadcasting live from the Musical Mash apartment. I'm so excited to hear from all of you. I've got technology all around me. It is crazy the amount of technology I've had to go through to get this thing working today. It's been quite the experience. Quite the experience to get this going. Gonna get you out of the way. I I have gone through. Hello, welcome, people arriving. I have gone through so many different cameras to get this dang thing working. Am I not live over there yet? Oh, this is going to be exciting if I. Who knows? Who knows if this is working? Hey, look, it's me! If you're watching this already and I haven't seen you, I have this over here on another computer to see how this whole thing is working. And I wonder if it's working. If you're watching this right now, thank you for watching. I'm sure it's riveting live streaming. Talking about technical difficulties. Technical difficulties, the live stream. That would be something boring to watch, probably. Hey, look, it's me! Oh my god, it's working! This is crazy. I wonder, you might hear a bunch of echo right now. I gotta see if the volume works. Oh, it works! That's awesome. This is so cool, y'all. This is so cool. Um, I got so many things happening right now. We're here to talk about Wicked. We're here to talk about Wicked. I'm going to talk to you about Wicked. I'm going to talk to me about Wicked. I'm going to talk to all of us about Wicked. So let's talk about Wicked. Wicked, hold on, I have a cheat sheet here. So Wicked is more than 10 years old now. What is that? What, Wicked is 12 years old now and still playing on Broadway? That's I think that to begin with is pretty cool because Broadway, Broadway shows are kind of sink or swim, and Wicked when Wicked came out, Wicked, at least from my uneducated high school mind, did not seem like a, I don't know, it did not seem like a traditional Broadway show. There are no kick lines in Wicked. There's a lot of description of Wicked as a book musical, in that, like any other book musical, it has a libretto and it has songs that are related to the script. But I think even more than just that kind of traditional sense of a book musical, Wicked is a very plot driven musical in a way that I think other shows of the time weren't. Or at least was a part of an era of that kind of plot driven show. I want to pull up here other shows that were running at the time. Other shows that were nominated for the Best Musical Tony at the time. Because I think it's very easy to look at older shows in a sense of isolation, in a sense of without comparing them to what's going on around that time, and it's easy to make some unfounded assumptions. So, as I've mentioned, Wicked lost the Tony Award to Avenue Q, which also was I think that is the comparison that sticks most in my mind, is the comparison between Wicked and Avenue Q and how they both have this kind of plot-driven musicality to them. There aren't. That's wrong. I was about to say they're not really chorus-driven numbers, but Wicked has a chorus. I wonder why in my mind it sticks as not having. It certainly doesn't have the same chorus feel as a lot of other musicals. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't really developed that opinion a lot. Just babbling. This is all just gonna feel like me babbling. There are 4 people here. I'm so happy you're all here watching. If so, this this could all go very pear-shaped very quickly. If all of a sudden you lose me or you can't hear me or something's going wrong, will you tweet at me? I got that open, and hopefully, if problems happen, we can solve them there. So I've got these questions open, and feel free to toss in more questions into this pile as we're going. But I wanted to start with this one. He clicks the select button. When was your first experience seeing Wicked on stage? Now, I am from Chicago, and Wicked came on tour through Chicago, but then infamously became one of the first sit-down productions in Chicago, which was a term I think they invented for Wicked. It extended, and then it extended, and then it extended its run to the point where they stopped feeling comfortable calling it an extended run, and it played in Chicago for 5 or 6 years. So I saw Wicked, I think, 3 times in high school. The very first time I went in high school, it was a chorus field trip. I must have been a sophomore in high school, and it was one of the first professional big house musical theater productions I can ever remember seeing. Certainly I had seen a bunch of high school theater, and there's a local theater up by where I grew up that had, they were in the Round, and I saw a bunch of musicals there, but it was maybe a 200-seat house, and very good stuff, but not that kind of big, epic theater. And so just walking into the theater the first time at Wicked and seeing that dragon and seeing that set, Wicked is, in a lot of ways, a big, epic musical, and as a naive sophomore musical theater nerd, that completely blew me over. It was also one of the first musicals I had ever seen having already listened to the album. And that was certainly a new experience, because I think Wicked absolutely capitalized on its album release and very intentionally excluded a lot of plot details from the album. Like, they excluded the Wicked Witch of the East song with Nessarose and all those details. And so that, to me at least, made my first time seeing it a wonderful experience, because you knew some of the story going in, but not all of the story. And that, I don't know, it was really cool. It was a lot of fun. And certainly the extravagance of it all was wonderful. And then it was a high school field trip, so I got to see it with all my other high school theater nerds, and man, that bus ride back, I don't know if I've ever had that. That is the first time I did something like this. I had my first moment of true theatrical analysis that wasn't just about a high school production. It wasn't just about the people you knew in the production and how they did, but it was talking about actual actors doing an actual show. It was really cool. Wicked was a great experience for me the first time I saw it, and man, yeah, I haven't thought about that for a long time. That's what a great question. Let's see what we got going here. Feel free to type more of these questions in here. Are there any shows I would recommend in... This is going to be number 1. Okay, I got to click on We're doing a question unrelated to it. We're already going off the rails. Everything's gone all crazy. Who knows? Who knows where we're going? A question unrelated to Wicked, but related to Chicago. There's a Doctor Who convention apparently coming in Thanksgiving. That sounds awesome. Are there any shows playing that you would recommend? I saw Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder, which I think is still with us in Thanksgiving. It was okay. I think it's suited for a smaller space than where they've placed it downtown. I would, however, if you're going to be in Chicago, do some looking up of the local theater scene. See what's playing at Steppenwolf. See what's playing at the storefront theaters in Chicago. Chicago has, I think, if you go to Chicago and don't have a chance to see Chicago theater, you're missing out on something. There's something very unique about Chicago theater that I think makes it different from New York theater and makes it different from California tryouts and Boston tryouts. But there's a really nice, intimate feeling to Chicago theater. Go, take a chance and go see something in a basement somewhere. Those are always the best shows that I know that are playing in Chicago. I'll Google some. I'll take a look once we're done with this, and I'll see if I can find any recommendations for you, because that sounds awesome. I've been thinking about this. So the question is, there have been talks about a movie adaptation of the show for years. Now that most of the principals in the original Broadway cast have outgrown their roles, can you think of some actors that have enough star power to sell the movie and could potentially sing the roles? Wicked has been in movie purgatory for, it seems like, a decade at least. I mean, the first rumor, of course they're going to make Wicked into a movie. It's too lucrative not to. But it's also absolutely true that Chenoweth and Menzel are... It would be remiss, I think, to cast them as their original roles because so much time has passed. I wonder how they would react to this. I wonder even if they would do some rewriting of the show to find ways to use Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth on screen, because I think having them in the movie, even in like a minor role, absolutely, it sells it to people like me. It sells it to the nerds of the world. But if they're not casting them, who are they gonna cast? I wish that the world of cinematic musical theater would start taking a page out of the Lin-Manuel Miranda playbook of looking for new talent, new people. Star power is great and all, and I'm never one to question the... if there's a big name above the marquee, you're going to see that show if you like that person. But there are so many other talented people in this world. What a great way to find someone new, to find someone interesting. I also wonder if they would cast any of the current Elphabas or Glindas in the movie, or if they would try and find someone completely new. When I first read this question earlier, Anna Kendrick's name totally jumped to my mind. I think she would be Elphaba over being Glinda. I wonder if... I don't know if she has the chops to do it. I would be interested to see her try. I would be interested to see her take on it. All sorts of concepts and conceits about the possible movie intrigue me. I talk far too much about the transitions between creating a piece of art for the stage and creating a piece of art for the screen. And I wonder what parts of Wicked they'll change to suit the stage. I think it certainly would be fun to see the world of Oz more fleshed out a little bit. I think they do this a lot in the script of the show. And I should be more specific. I think they do this a lot with the... in all the made-up words they use in the book, in the libretto. The production design of Wicked, although stunning, although spectacular, is very abstract. And you have a sense, a lot of the Wicked production design looks like a set, which wouldn't translate well to the screen. Um, a lot of it seems kind of presentational in nature. A lot of the different set pieces, while cool and wonderful and extravagant, are confined to little tiny wagon pieces or very much incorporated into that kind of gear clockwork feel of the whole aesthetic of the show. And I don't think something like that would translate well to the screen. I think people on the screen want to see this fantastical imagined world. You know, I haven't seen the new Disney, what is it, Return to Oz with is Franco in that? Maybe. Um, but in that kind of twisted Alice in Wonderlandy, new Alice in Wonderlandy world. And I don't know if that would translate well for Wicked the movie. I don't know what would translate well. Like that, of all the things, how the production of it all is handled is one of the things that is the most intriguing to me about the potential of a Wicked movie. I think it's certainly going to happen. I think it's a little ways off. The Wizard of Oz is ripe for adaptation like this, like Wicked is, like Return to Oz, like all of those things. And every time a new adaptation of The Wizard of Oz comes out that is not the Wicked movie, I can hear the potential producers like pushing that timeline back in their head because they don't want to compete with, the new Disney Oz or even maybe the new Wiz coming out on NBC, whatever the live one they're doing, like that. That's all the same market, and you don't want to have to in your advertising differentiate yourself from these other potential pieces of art that are coming out around the same time, and so there needs to be a buffer after these things. And I think, although the Wicked movie has been in movie purgatory for a long time, I think we still have a while to go. Also, because it's just still profitable. People are still going to see Wicked. And there's the theater is an exclusive market, and the producers of Wicked know that very well. And if you can only see it on stage, then you're more likely to go see it. But the moment that movie comes out, who knows? That exclusivity kind of goes away. Yeah? Babble, babble, babble. Y'all get to see. This is what it's like when I normally film a video. There's all sorts of parts in between that I'm like, cut out. Tommy was thinking about a thing. We don't need that anymore. You could see them all today. Isn't that exciting? I'm excited about it. What else do we got here? So, I'm gonna click on this. If you could recast the show, who would be your dream cast, including performers that are no longer with us? I was talking about this with Jimmy during our Sweeney Todd podcast. I suck at performer names. If you go back in my videos, you might notice that musical theater exists to me less in a world of star power and performers and more in a world of textual analysis and what's the word? Like as a way to explore concepts. And despite what sometimes my channel leads people to believe, I care much more for the content of things and care much less for the actual specific stars. But my friends and I have previously had a game of recasting shows not with actors per se, but with Food Network television stars. It's a lot of fun. If you ever get bored, we had a great time recasting Into the Woods with only people who have Food Network television shows. And so that's actually what I think I'm going to do with this question. So let me pull up a cast list. So let's start with Elphaba. Who on the Food Network could play Elphaba? I always think, Paula Deen could be fun. Can you imagine Paula Deen down up on a thing with her southern accent? That would be great. I think it would be fun if so let's do Paula Deen as Elphaba. I think it would be, now picture this. Uh you go into the theater. You're here to see Wicked. The opening music starts and it's da 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 da. Good news, she's dead. And the bubble descends, and standing on the bubble in a wonderful flowing white and blue gown is Food Network star Emeril Lagasse. And he goes, "Bam! Good news! She's dead!" It's my Emeril impression. So I think I would do Emeril is, the Bam guy as Glinda, for sure. That one's set in stone. There's nothing, that's goes without saying. Fiyero has to be Elton Brown, because who else would go dancing through life other than Elton Brown? I mean, there's nothing you can do about that. Madam, oh no, the wizard. I've thought about this one too. Guy Fieri, because then you could have the giant wizard head, but instead of the nice like combed back hair that he has, you could have like big spiky hair and backward sunglasses on the back of his head. So Guy Fieri as the wizard, and I had Madame Morrible. The question said, people who aren't with us too. So I think Julia Child would be the best Madame Morrible you could possibly have. I think that just goes without saying. So yeah, Food Network stars as musical stars. It's a thing I decided to do. Do it. You should. It's really a great way to pass time if you take your favorite pieces of art and try and recast them with Food Network stars. It's a great way to pass time. Let me see what other. I'm reading through the questions. All right, this one's been sitting around. I want to answer this one. I mentioned this in the show of the week. As much as I've been so this whole week I've been re-listening to Wicked a lot, so that I'm kind of well versed. And the more I listen to it, I wish I had written some of them down. I didn't. I'm sorry. There are some lyrics in this show that I think are less than ideal. There are some great lyrics. I'm cheating. I'm typing Wicked lyrics into Google, because I just gotta look them up. Da, 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 ba, 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 doo, doo, doo. So I was listening to No Good Deed. This is when so a lot of the Wicked lyrics. I know this question was favorite line, but these are lines I want to fix. She has this one line that's, "One question haunts and hurts, too much to mention. Was I really seeking good or just seeking attention? Is that all good deeds are when looked at with an ice cold eye? If that's all good deeds are, then maybe that's the reason why no good deed goes unpunished." It's the content of that is really, really important. It is, because the whole thesis of the show is, are we born wicked? Is wickedness thrust upon us? It's that whole wickedness versus doing good dichotomy. And so it's really important to watch Elphaba consider these questions about, am I trying to do good, or am I just trying to do me? Is doing me a wicked sort of thing? It's really important that we get this. But that the way these lines scan in the music, it flows past you and kind of minimizes their importance. Like there's needless repetition, which Sondheim will always yell about. One question haunts and hurts, too much to mention. That too much to mention, that's just a throwaway little filler line. You could cut that from the text of it all and all still make sense. One question haunts and hurts. Was I really seeking good or seeking attention? You just need mention as the rhyme for attention. And that's, that feels throwaway. And then it keeps going. Like, is that all good deeds are when looked at with an ice cold eye? Ice cold eye is great imagery, but the I don't know, it feels like misplaced metaphor, and I feel like Schwartz does these sort of things throughout. There are a lot of real strange kind of thrown away sentences, either for the sake of the rhyme or for the sake um, of filling the phrase and filling the meter. Um, in I'm Not That Girl, Elphaba's, the one of the stanzas is blithe smile, lithe limb, she who's winsome, she wins him. And I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this, internet. Um, blithe smile, lithe limb. You're showing off your vocabulary, and spoken sounds smart and intelligent. Sung sounds kind of hoity-toity. And Elphaba, though smart, is that is a lot of thought put into a lyric for something that you're just making up on the spot. Um, she who's winsome, she wins him is great, like her withers wither with her. But I don't know. I don't know why I struggle with all of this. All right, now that we've gotten the negativity out of the way, favorite line from the show. Um, Winnie Holtzman's book is to die for. I wish all musical theater books were as funny, were as well thought out, were as concise. The it's the one I did as my chalkboard quote. We don't all have the luxury of we can't all travel by bubble, whatever that is specifically. Um, Hilarious as a line on its own, but becomes so much more important to the story because we are in this moment of tension. We've reached this Elphaba Glinda standoff, and that is what the show comes down to: is their relationships. And there's wonderful tension. There's wonderful. We feel the hatred seething, and then it is broke with a beautifully timed and phrased, funny laugh line that also jumps off the back of what so many of the laugh lines do in the show, of that we have this cultural understanding of what the Wizard of Oz is. You picture Glinda in the Wizard of Oz, the Judy Garland movie, and the first thing you picture is her in that bubble. And so many of Winnie Holtzman's lines jump off that kind of understanding. I think that's where a lot of Wicked has derived its success from, is that it because we all, hearing the untold story of the Wicked Witch of the West is just, you immediately want to know. You already have so much wonderful backstory and things to draw off on, and the book, more than anything else, is what draws off of them. The line they make about the punch, it's like, what's in the punch? It's lemons and limes and whatever, oh my. And it's a great subtle reference to the movie, and it's a laugh line. And those whether throwaway gimmicky lines or really intentional plot driven lines, I think are my favorite lines in the show. All right, I'm gonna pick on this, but I gotta look at these lyrics. Similar to the question above, rather than favorite line, favorite song, which maybe doesn't get the attention it should. Yes, I'm specifically picking on Popular and Defying Gravity. I think we sang For Good as an a cappella arrangement in high school. I think For Good is on the same level as Popular and Defying Gravity in like really often done, it's the sort, like on the 20th anniversary and the 30th anniversary of Wicked, these are the songs they will pick to perform at the Tony Awards. Of those three, I think For Good has the best written lyrics, and it should. It's near the end of the show, but it's got pretty good imagery. Lots of, it is a minor reprise of Unlimited, and that she's I'm Limited. Like there's great things done there, and they play on the multiple meaning of For Good. I think some of the imagery, some of the imagery can be a little too verbose sometimes. Some of the imagery can be a little too, I don't know quite the right word. Sondheim talks about in one of the Hat books that there is sorry, my everything started yelling at me and I needed to click on some buttons. What was I talking about? Sondheim talks about in one of his books that a lot of times poetry on the page that seems wonderful and beautiful can sound, it goes over a threshold when you add music to that, and that oftentimes the best lyrics seem simple just when they're on the page, and I think For Good falls into some of those problems. The like a comet pulled from orbit, like a seed dropped by a skybird, can get a little too verbose sometimes. Hold on, I gotta type some things into this. My friends and I had a joke. I forget. So it was the 10th anniversary of Wicked when they performed For Good at the Tonys, I think. And they're burning through the songs they can perform at performance endeavors like that. And he said something like, in the next 5 years, they're going to have to do something bad at the Tony Awards because there will be no other number to perform, which is interesting commentary. Like I think Something Bad is certainly an important song in Wicked, but it's not it's not a song you'd sing at karaoke. It's not a song that some pop star is gonna remix and do a new version of. I always enjoy A Sentimental Man. No, I don't mean A Sentimental Man. I mean the other Wizard song. Wonderful. I think both of them are. This is something I struggle with. A lot of times you feel like there are songs put in because you know that this role is going to be played by an actor or an actress who you want to give songs to, but they are not as important as some of the other songs in the show. Like we're taking a breather. I think Wonderful is one of those. We don't need a whole lot of character development for the wizard. We know who the wizard is because we have this sense of the backstory and cultural presence of the Wizard of Oz, which is the name of the show, which I couldn't think of for a split second there. And Wonderful, it is backstory about the wizard. We know all of this already. You'd think we land with the balloon. I think it assumes that on a surface level, if you just take it for its content, if you just take it for what is inside the song itself, it assumes that there might be someone coming to see Wicked who doesn't know the plot of the Wizard of Oz, and I think that's a wrong assumption. I don't know. I'm trying to. We're live on air. I'm sending someone a message who can't get in, but I want her to be able to get in. Sorry, everyone. I'm typing things and I can't type and talk at the same time. Yeah, I think if this show continues to play for as long as it already has, they're going to burn through all of these songs. I also wonder if, Wicked doesn't seem like a show that's ever going to close, frankly. And a lot of time is going to have to go by before we can even think about reviving Wicked. And with the thought of a revival often comes the thought of, are we going to add a new song? Are we going to rewrite a song? Are we going to change something? What are we going to do that's different? I had a point to that. I don't know where I was going. I'm singing while I'm typing things. Isn't this exciting? Ba ba da 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 da. Boop boop boo. Boop boop boo. Boop 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 boo. Can I tell you the vagaries of Google Plus and YouTube and Hangouts on Air has been. Thank you all for putting up with all of this. It's been painful to get this all going. Like yeah. There's no point in talking more about that. I have not been in. So this question is: have you been involved in a stage production of Wicked? If not, would you want to? And what position would you think you would be involved in? I have not been involved in a stage production of Wicked. I think it would be a lot of fun. I would enjoy. My secondary specialty is lighting design, and it would be a lot of fun to reimagine, I think, some of the lighting for Wicked with a new sense of lighting design. I don't know what that new concept would be, to try and find something different. It's often, whenever Wicked moves to another venue, whenever they end up in another place, they're not like reinventing the wheel very often with the lighting design. They're often, taking the same cues, taking the same ideas, and just putting them into a new venue, resetting them. I think it would be fun to do Wicked in like a different venue. I would love to see like an outdoor performance of Wicked, or I wonder how Wicked would work in like an intimate setting. I wonder if it would work at all. I think that would be fun to find a way to reimagine Wicked, to do something like that. So whatever position puts me in that. There is. Hold on, I took it in the notes. There's this. I wonder how I can send you all this link. There's a Danish version of Wicked that they did a bunch of new stuff with. I don't know. I'll put it on the Hangouts page. I think I can do that. Yeah, here we go. The Danish production of Wicked. I think this is the right link. Yeah, they did a whole bunch of new projection work, and it is in a much more intimate space, and there's something really cool about it. This is actually the link to a lot of the projection design they do. Some of it's kind of creepy. I think some of it, there's room for improvement, but it definitely embodies that kind of epic nature of Wicked in a more intimate space. And that's cool. I'd like to see more like that. There's also, I think the video got deleted. I haven't been able to find it, but in Japan or China, there's some performance of Wicked that is a cut down one-act theme park version that is also really interesting to look at. It ends with defying gravity, but I think For Good happens somewhere in the middle. It was all, it was rearranged to be like a jukebox greatest hits version of Wicked, and that was, was on the unsuccessful end of things, I think. Wow, I feel babbly. Babble, babble, babble. Um, yeah, lighting was my answer to what I'd want to do. Um, okay, here's a not pertaining to Wicked question. Um, who does the chalk drawings? It is me. I spend a lot of time doing these chalk drawings on my. So I live in a tiny studio apartment. Some people who I know who watch my videos who then come and visit. They walk into this room and they're like, "Wow, it's so much tinier in person." It is. But one of my favorite things to do every week is the chalkboard drawings. When I was in college, long before I knew what to actually do with my free time, which is this, one of the things I used to do when I was bored is I had a satchel full of sidewalk chalk and would just go out to the quad and just start, doing chalk like a needy artist who needs to express himself. And it slowly evolved from just these kind of doodles to I'm hesitant to say inspirational quotes because some of them were a little obscene, and some of them were just funny. But funny or interesting phrases in interestingly designed typography on the sidewalk. And for a while, I had a little bit of minor campus fame centered around these chalk quotes that I'd do on the quad. And I did it for a couple years, and then being a junior and senior, and then super senior college major got in the way of filling those things out, and that sort of fell by the wayside. But I was looking for a way to kind of use this obscure talent that I had worked on developing, and it turned into the quotes on the board, and they are, you know, and I mentioned this briefly. The the thing that always appeals to me about musical theater is the content, is the text, is what it's made up of. And it's why I do this. It's the sort of thing I want to bring attention to. And even just having a quote from the thing on the chalkboard without any context, without, it's not like a Tumblr post where it's superimposed over an actor's face or a evocative image of it. It is just the words, it is just the text. And that's something that, to sound like a hoity-toity artist, it's something that speaks to me a lot, and I like that, and I like pointing that out and finding a way to focus on that. So that's why the chalk happens, I guess. Um, do you think any of the sequels to Wicked should be staged? So are we Gregory Maguire? And correct me if I'm wrong on this. I know there is one book sequel to Wicked, who I think it's about. Um, oh, there's a bunch. I was way wrong. Okay, so there's Wicked, which the musical is based on, then Son of a Witch, A Lion Among Men, and Out of Oz. I don't know much about these other than I've heard about them. I imagine Son of a Witch is about Elphaba's son. I imagine A Lion Among Men is about the lion. I imagine Out of Oz. I guess I don't know what Out of Oz would be about. The young granddaughter of Elphaba. Okay. I would much rather see some of the other Gregory Maguire novels, which I haven't read, so who knows. Stage like the other Confessions of an Ugly Stepsister. Um, he's got some others, right? Is Mirror Mirror about the queen from Alice in Wonder? Oh no, A Revisionist Tale of Snow White. Yes, yes, yes. I think that would be much more fun to see than a direct sequel to Wicked because notoriously, and one of these days I'll make a video about this, direct sequels to musicals fail horribly. Grease 2, Annie Warbucks, Bring Back Birdie. These are all sequels to popular musicals. If you haven't heard of them, that's not surprising because they did not do well. And the other guy who sits on my shoulder just said in my mind, but Tommy, it's Wicked. People love Wicked. People loved Grease. And people did not like Grease 2. People loved Annie, and Annie Warbucks was kind of a mess. I think it's worth it to leave well enough alone. I, would be interested. Musicals are kind of nice, tight, simplistic packages. There's not, you don't want to leave your audience with a lot of loose ends to tie up. Not that you need to conclude everything in your piece of art, but there aren't a lot of like big old cliffhanger musicals because that's not popular among audiences. They because you're going somewhere to experience this piece of art. I just said this. I've never seen Grease 2. This question popped up. I love. Oh, you guys can see them too. I've never seen Grease 2. Maybe one day I will watch it. I'm all for things that people, you know, quote like as much as I rag on all the sort of stuff I sit on that couch and watch. I love watching stuff like Geppetto and um, Mrs. Santa Claus and all that kind of stuff. Like nothing gives me more joy than that sort of stuff. I have, don't tell anyone, but this past week I watched the 1995 Jason Alexander Bye Bye Birdie, which, as far as I can tell, was made for the Hallmark Channel. Vanessa Williams plays Rosie. Tyne Daly is Mrs. Peterson. Norm from Cheers is Kim's dad, and I was all ready to not like the thing at all. It was fantastic. It was really, really good, but that's a video for another day. What was I talking about? Who knows? Who knows? I'm just gonna, Jason. I'm just gonna select this question. And I'm just gonna leave it here, and we're just gonna watch. Everyone's just gonna enjoy your love of Grease 2 because I had this thing that I wanted to pull up. I did some googling. I'm gonna put this in the. Oh, I never shared the Danish production thing. There, now it's there on the Google Plus page. God, Google. Oh, if you're a tech entrepreneur and are gonna make some replacement for Google Hangouts and this sort of stuff that is easy to use and easy to invite people to, please let me know. I will be the first to sign up. I'm sharing this as much as most people hate these sort of things. I am about to take this BuzzFeed quiz. I've been saving it for this moment. Which wicked character are you? From the wonderful, ha, it's a pun, BuzzFeed. Which wicked character are you? I have no idea how good this quiz is going to be. Some BuzzFeed quizzes are great. Some BuzzFeed quizzes are not so great. So here, hold on. I think I can do this where we can all take this. We can watch me. How do I? La la la. La la la. All right. Here it is. Which wicked character are you? Pick the Wizard of Oz character. Which one should we pick? Well, there's Dorothy, Toto. Is Scarecrow on a cell phone there? Why? And why did they pick? I always wonder when making a quiz like this, like they picked what looked like some are stills from the film, some are I don't know what these boobs are. Sorry everyone, we're going to get rid of those boobs. Sometimes they pick publicity stills. I think if I were any Wizard of Oz character, I would be Toto because I've lived most of my life as a friend of Dorothy, and I just think that seems appropriate. Choose a color. Ooh. See, so now you wonder like are they playing you for are they like, oh, if they pick green, they're going to think they're picking Elphaba, but maybe green is actually the color of the envy that Glinda feels for Elphaba's love with Fier. I don't know. I'm gonna pick red instead because I think red is a fun color, and I look better in red than I do in any of those other colors, except maybe brown. I don't know. Which wicked song is closest to your heart? All right, let's see these. Popular, Defying Gravity, No One Mourns the Wicked, What Is This Feeling, For Good, Dancing, through life. There's no something bad. What if something bad is closest to my heart? I am disappointed in you, BuzzFeed quiz. Um, I definitely think Dancing Through Life is closest to my heart, partially because sometimes I feel like that crazy dropout who doesn't know what he's doing. And sometimes I just like to imagine Aaron Tveit singing it, and it just brings me great joy. Um, where would I most likely be found in my free time? None of these have labels, which is you just have to pick one. So it's a forest, a rave. Do they mean is this like a library, or am I just next to these bookcases? I don't understand. This I assume this is a tech startup in Hawaii. That's what it looks like, at least. Hogwarts, or is this a castle? Is this a medieval Doctor Who spaceship? This one confuses me. I don't know what to pick for this one. I think I would most likely to be found in this kind of Hawaiian tech startup over here. Which defying gravity do you most relate to? Oh, so many words. Everyone deserves a chance to fly. If I'm flying solo, at least I'm flying free. They're missing a space there. Well, if that's love, it comes at much too high a cost. Dreams the way we planned them, if we work in tandem. Great rhyme. If you care to find me, look to the western skies. I'm through with playing by the rules of someone else's game. I think everyone deserves a chance to fly. I think I'm all about educating and bringing people their opportunity, their positiveness, that sort of stuff. Pick a virtue: love, respect, compassion, kindness, wisdom, courage. This sounds like the Boy Scout oath, which I only vaguely remember from my times as a Boy Scout before they kicked me out. I think I most closely relate to the virtue of compassion. He toots his horn for the internet. Which evil witch is my favorite? Oh no. Let's see. Bellatrix Lestrange. Well, we know how I feel about Helena Bonham Carter. I assume this says Ravinia. I don't know who half of these people are. Don't hate me, internet. Who's this lady? Does anyone recognize her? I'm gonna pick her anyway, just because she looks the most appealing. The show is over. Which piece of merchandise are you heading home with? Ooh, commemorative plates. Oh, look at this thing. This is adorable. Oh, I gotta pick that. I got Dr. Dillamond! Ah! I got Dr. Oh, man. I got Dr. Dillamond, everyone. Clearly, they didn't even need to include something bad as one of the song choices. They knew who I was going to be already. Oh, I didn't even have it. I'll read you what it says about me being Dr. Dillamond. Your knowledge of Oz and its history is astounding and in its own measure. And add to that your deep compassion for all living beings, and you have the most amazing talking. This doesn't. Oh, I don't know how to read. It says I'm Dr. Dillamond. It's great. I get to be a weird goat thing. It's just what I've always wanted. Thanks, BuzzFeed. You're the best. Just the best. This did bring up. So hold on. I had some other notes I had here that things I wanted to talk about. As much as I bashed on some of Schwartz's lyrics earlier, there are some ones here that I think Stephen Schwartz is a master of the split rhyme, of splitting a syllable and finding the way to rhyme it with the end of a line. So there's in A Sentimental Man, I'm helping you with your ascent, allows me to feel so parental, and ascental and parental rhyme, or it's time to try, defy, in gravity, or in popular, frank analysis, personality, dialysis, become a palissister. I just love that kind of stuff. And this reminded me of that with those lyrics in here. Ooh, questions popped up. Yes, it was Meryl Streep from Into the Woods. I think she's great. I think some people have some varied opinions on her and Into the Woods. I'm sad that her song got cut. I understand that her song got cut. I wouldn't have cast anyone else in that role based on the people available. Yes, that was Meryl Streep. Apparently, picking Meryl Streep makes you like Dr. Dillamond. Who knows? I may actually purchase that Elphaba Funko thing, that little bobbleheady thing. Is that what's that's called? Elphaba Funko. He types into Google as he narrates. Oh, they're adorable, and there's a Glinda one too. Oh, oh no, this is the worst thing I've discovered. Oh, these are gonna be. Oh my God! It's hold on. All right, I'm gonna bring it. How do I? Look at that thing! Isn't that the cutest little thing you've ever seen? Okay, that's enough. How do I go back to this? Hey, we're back. Um, oh man, you got the wizard. I will ship overseas. It'll be a bit of an experiment. This is the question about posters. I will ship overseas. I don't know if it'll work, but shoot me an email. We'll give it a go. Um, yeah, favorite revival. These are my. I'm distracted because I'm watching what you can see over there, and it's a good like minute and a half behind what's going on, and it's very disorienting. Favorite revival of a musical? These questions are always the hardest for me to um, field, not just about revivals, but about musicals in general, because, I'm on what, show of the week 47, and they are all absolutely shows that I adore and enjoy and love for different reasons. And so picking a favorite, it's like picking a favorite child. Revivals are particularly interesting to me because what's cool, what I think is cool about a revival is you get to reinvent a whole bunch of things. I think that's what's cool about musical theater and plays in general. When you make a book, when you make a movie, when you paint a painting, when you do something like that, it's stuck. It's done. Your art is done. It exists. That's it. You've presented it as much as you can. You're wrong. You're right. Whatever. With a play, with a piece of musical theater, it is um you get to reinvent things. You get to reimagine things, and that's awesome to me. Nowhere else do you get to do that as much. And so, like with the current, I think one of the greatest contemporary examples is the current Deaf Awakening, Spring Awakening production. Like, what a fantastic way to recouch and reimagine that show. And by and large, all reports coming in say it is, it improves upon an already great musical, and you don't get to in other pieces of work. So there is. Hold on, this is my art history coming in. It's a painting of a pope. Yeah, it's this one. The portrait of Innocent the 10th. I'm getting this presentation ready for y'all. I think this is a Francis Bacon, not Kevin Bacon portrait. All right, let's see how I can do this. So, and there's a point to all this, but we'll get to it. So let me show you these pictures. So this is la la la. This is the original portrait by Francis Bacon of Pope Innocent the this one, maybe now you can see it, of Pope Innocent the 10th. And then this, I actually have to look it up, is a piece of art done after that. And like, look, that's really cool. And you're definitely you're saying something when you do a piece of painting like that. This to me embodies in a painting kind of way what you get to do with a revival. Clearly inspired off of something, clearly saying something, and like super creepy. I'm gonna take this down. Hey, we're back. Super creepy, super interesting. And that's what you get to do with a revival. You get to take a piece of art and reimagine it. I still haven't answered the question of what my favorite revival of any musical is. I think from a personal standpoint, I will always enjoy the revival of Merrily We Roll Along. The what is it, 96? The one with the blue cover. You know that one. Um, because if you listen to that production, 1994, if you listen to that production in comparison to the original 1981 recording, they fixed it in a whole bunch of ways, and you don't get to do that with any other work of art as extremely without drawing the ire of a bunch of already committed fans. Like, you can't, you know just look at George Lucas and the special edition re-releases of Star Wars. For whatever reasons, all of the things he changed, people have all sorts of awful varying opinions about, for better or for worse, and they're relatively tiny changes in the grand scheme of things. He's not changing story, he's not recutting or like adding in like vast new swaths of scenes, not in the same way that revivals of musicals get to do. And that's my way of avoiding that question. Um, Personal story, personal question. I got kicked out of the Boy Scouts for being a homo popsicle, which is a cold homosexual, I guess. Maybe. Who knows? What else did I have in my notes here? Have we all seen these were the two videos that came up when I was searching for Wicked. The wonderful drunk Broadway Wicked retelling by Shoshana Bean. It's one, they stole my idea, which is always hurtful. These are going on the things. Da, da, da. What is this called? Drunk Broadway Wicked Act 1. This is going in the Hangout. It's hilarious. It's like all the drunk histories, but it's Act 1 of Wicked. It's very funny. And then, of course, the beautiful, fantastic, Can Do No Wrong, Aaron Tveit singing, is it Defying Gravity? Yeah. It's just everything I want in the world and more. You should watch both of those videos because they're things I enjoy. See, isn't that useful? Do I have any more books on my shelf to show off? That's a good question. He looks at his bookcase over there. A lot of the books on my shelf that I didn't show off are leftovers. In college I majored in theater education and technical design and production, and then my minor was in, I don't know where to look. I'm all over the place. There's so many pictures of me everywhere. Over there. My minor was in early childhood English education, which is a fun major. So where if you had maybe assigned to you in your English class, a bunch of Charles Dickens or a bunch of like classic American literature, we read things like Harold and the Purple Crayon, or Where the Wild Things Are, or Harriet the Spy, and then had scholarly, collegiate discussions about these pieces of children's literature. And it's a lot of fun. And that's, is also, I think, a big motivation on why I like talking about analyzing musicals so much and talking about these sort of things. Because you can talk about any piece of text. Every piece of art, if someone put even a modicum of thought into it, if someone even spent 2 seconds trying to say something or trying to do something, then there's something to analyze there. There's something to talk about. There's something to critique, to build upon, and to contextualize and where it fits in society. And I just love doing that. And then, I love musical theater. And the conflagration of those two things is my internet presence, I guess. That's a weird thing to say, I think. I don't know. Yeah. We talked about Wicked. This was fun. Thank you all for stopping by. Thank you all so much for your support. It is beyond anything that I could ever have imagined happening in my life at all. And I wake up every day thinking I'm the luckiest person on earth. Thanks for swinging by to talk about Wicked. I hope to talk with you all next month. Uh, this is, if you get nostalgic or if you tuned in late and you missed some of the stuff, I'm gonna recut some of the babbliness out of this video, but it's gonna go up on the channel. You can watch it there. If you haven't yet swung by the subreddit, check my Twitter. I'm trying to find ways for. I want to have more discussion, more things like this, more places to talk with people, with you, with the other musical theater nerds of the world, and the Reddit's a great place to do that. So swing by there, and keep watching musical theater. I'll see you around. Bye.